I just wanted to come on here and quickly chat about like what's been going on with me, uh, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, because I feel like not that people want to know, but I know that especially these days, I've been going onto social media with the purpose of not feeling like a crazy person or not feeling alone in like with this shift that's going on energetically. And so I've just been wanting to um, experience and co-create, um, experience and co-create a reality with like-minded people and like-minded, well, yeah, like-minded people, um, so that I just don't feel like alone. Because I feel like most people in the world right now who operate on this level may not have a lot of friends or a lot of people around them that feel the same way they do. So oftentimes I find that we go to YouTube or other forms of social media and like we follow these people so that we can co-create a moment where we don't feel lonely or alone, or we're like, yes, I'm not crazy, or yes, I'm going through the same thing. So here I am. um, and for me, these days, I've been watching tons of YouTube videos, lots of YouTube videos, lots of people who practice spirituality, and lots of people who practice law of manifestation, tons of pick a card tarot reads, or people blogging about their life, and like just all these things, just all these moments so that I don't feel like alone. Because I do have friends that are like minded, but we don't see each other as often, and we're not on our phones as often, so we're not texting all the time. Um, so yeah, I've just been doing tons of things. And if you guys are um, in the midst of looking for more people to watch, then I'll just leave everybody's description links below, just so that there's like a little sense of comfort, because it can be comforted in these times, especially not to feel like a crazy person, because as the energies continue to shift towards the end of 2020, I feel like for people who operate on a level that's maybe a tiny bit lower vibrationally, um, think that we're all nuts. And sometimes I feel like we think that we're nuts if our reality isn't going the way that we expect it to go, which we shouldn't expect anything. We should just ride along with the waves. But yeah, this might be all over the place because I'm just gonna be talking. And I'm drinking some black tea right now with honey and agave because I like it sweet. But yes, um, these days what I've been working on is um, just loving myself more, practicing forms of self love, mostly in healing and journaling and being disciplined with like a yoga practice or a physical practice, meditating, breath work, being as disciplined as possible with that, like actually getting myself up and doing it. um, because I feel like that's the best kind of love that you can give yourself, is knowing and actively practicing healing and doing shadow work. But I am also in with along with that, I am working on trying to not judge myself, and I mean and others as well, but mostly not trying to judge myself, because recently I've been understanding that with this healing, that it's not linear. It doesn't just go up a slope or down or whatever. It goes all over the place. And so you are going to have those moments when you dip back into those habits that you're really trying hard to steer away from. And I feel like oftentimes we can be really, really hard on ourselves when we do dip back into those moments, or we do things that we're not proud of, or are low vibrational, or we know that that doesn't serve our good, that doesn't serve the highest good of all, we tend to get hard on ourselves sometimes, or all the time. um, and that's really what I've been trying not to do. I've really been not judging myself, or at least when I do dip back into those moments, I think to myself, okay, obviously there's still some things that still need to be dug out and healed, and things that I still need to meditate on, and things that I still need to do um, to try to get this out. And sometimes I catch myself in the moment, and I decide in the moment whether or not I want to finish what I'm doing or thinking about, or what I'm dipping back into, a habit or belief or anything. I decide in that moment if I want to stick to it in that moment, or if I want to stop it. Because I feel like if you are going to do it, then just do it. you know, give your body and your mind and everything a chance to dive into it. But when you're in there, understand what you're doing. Um, Try to learn from what you're doing. Like for me, I get really impulsive, and I put food for me is an interesting thing because I get really impulsive with food and what I want to eat, and like everyone else, um, food is an emotional thing, and so I feel that if I am avoiding feeling a certain way, or avoiding some type of shadow work, or if I feel sad or angry or any of the feelings that human beings tend to avoid, I will be super impulsive and buy food that I know will just make me feel good, and not it isn't necessarily good for my body to have. Even if I have like a full fridge in, like even if I have tons of food, even if I've just gone grocery shopping, I'll spend money on deliveries, because for me, the act of food being delivered is also emotional too. I like the act of going through the menu and like choosing all of these foods that, yes, they are going to be vegan and animal friendly and probably earth friendly, but I know that I probably shouldn't eat a big thing of pasta with no veggies, or just get veggie burgers all the time and like all that stuff. And I like almost binge all of these foods that I know that probably aren't good for me, but I know that'll make me feel better. And right after I press like order and the food comes, I know in that moment that it's not good for me, but then I also think about what I was saying a couple of minutes ago, that okay, I bought it this time, I'm gonna eat this time. What exactly am I hiding from, And a couple of weeks ago, I would make myself feel bad for it, like after eating the meal and like doing all this stuff, and now I'm like, you know what? If it happens, which it has been happening less because of the fact that I'm not judging myself, and I say that I'm proud of myself for doing these things, which I'll get into that later. When it does happen, I don't I don't judge myself, and I try to learn from the situation. Um, but yeah, I feel like we need to stop being so hard on ourselves, and I feel like we need to be more proud of ourselves, and we need to tell ourselves that we are proud of ourselves, because none of us are perfect, and when we do just the little small things, um, that we should say that we're proud of ourselves. Like I said, that I wanted to be more disciplined these days, which I do. And so when I do get myself up and I get out of like the lazy slump and I go on my mat, I thank my body and I say that I'm proud of myself for doing it, because you're tricking your ego at that point. When you trick your ego and you say, yeah, girl, I'm proud of you, or yeah, boy, I'm proud of you, then your ego's like, oh yeah, maybe I should keep doing this. um, but I feel like we're so hard on ourselves, and people who are like deep on their spiritual path and have a really nice practice going, and they feel themselves more at peace, and they're really disciplined with themselves, and they act from a place of love. I feel like we all go into a place where, we tend to get a little hard on ourselves when we want to stay in bed all day and we don't feel like doing anything, or where we really want a vegan cupcake, and or if we are practicing like intermittent fasting and we're so hungry and we're like, no, 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 I'm gonna eat, and then we eat something at a time where we didn't really want to eat, but we just want, we just did it. We were impulsive. We get really hard on ourselves and we feel like, oh my goodness, I've backtracked. It's like taking one step forward and then 1,000 steps back. When in reality, we're only moving forward. We need to realize that we're only moving and we're only going forward. Um, so yeah, that's what I've been practicing these days. Just not judging myself or not, I don't know, just not being so hard on myself. Like, I feel like even now with the way that I'm recording, I'll like play it back and I'll go through it before I upload it, and my ego will be like, oh, you're stammering all over the place and nobody's gonna understand you, and do you even know what you're talking about, blah blah blah. And in this moment, I'm deciding now that I'm not going to be too hard on myself about that. Because who cares? You understand me. You know what I'm saying. um, so yeah, we just need to. I feel like that needs to be a part of our self care routine, and we need to affirm it to ourselves every day. Like when I write down in my affirmation book, because I have a journal where I write affirmations down. Um, every day I've been writing. I do not judge myself. I do not judge others. I am not too hard on myself. I do write, however, I am disciplined, because you can get into a trap where it's a little bit of spiritual bypass when you feel like you're in this process of healing that's not linear, it's all over the place, and you do get into a slump. And spiritually, you understand that you should embrace like the lazy slump or the slump of sadness, and you feel like you're in a rut, but you also know that it's healing. So you really get into it, and you're like, you know what? I'm just gonna rest all day. I don't care. It's okay. Everything happens in divine timing. Whatever. I'll be fine. We have to stay balanced. Balance is the key. So I do still write. I am disciplined. I do try, but I do also cater to that side of myself when I'm like, you know what? It's okay. I don't need to do this today, or it's okay if I slip up. In the moment when I'm slipping up, it's okay. You still love yourself. You learn from that moment. But it's really all about balance. I feel like you don't have to be extremely militant on yourself. That's not necessary. In fact, I think that that's counterproductive to your practice, or at least to my practice. I don't know. I don't know what other people are doing, but for me personally, I feel like being super militant on myself is definitely counterproductive for myself. But I sit and I ask my spiritual team, I ask Source, I ask the universe, I ask my ancestors, everybody. I'm like, help me, guide me. Um, I don't rely on them too much, obviously, because we sometimes we forget that we create our own reality too, and that they're not the ones that's taking us like puppet strings. We have to do something as well. Um, so yeah, I don't know. This is a rant. But I just wanted to get on here and kind of talk and like vent. I don't know. I feel like videos like these help me a lot because I feel like, oh my goodness, me too. And that like I'm not alone on stuff. So I just wanted to get on here and talk with my friends. Everyone's my friend. You all are my friends. Um, so yeah, don't be hard on yourself. Stop judging yourself. If you dip back into those habits or energies, vibrations that are lower of your lower self, um, old things, subconscious habits stemming from trauma, all that stuff. Feel it. Be in the moment, be present through it, and learn from it. If you're present through that experience, you can learn from it, and it can only be good. And you're not going backwards. You're not going backwards. You're only going forward. Okay? So chill out a little bit and love yourself. Say you're proud of yourself. Even say you're proud of yourself in those moments when you dip back into those habits that you don't want to. Tell yourself that you're proud of yourself, because that's a part of the healing too. Okay? But balance. Be balanced. Still try. You cannot judge yourself. Okay? Still try your best to come out of that funk. Still try your best to actively practice healing. You know what I mean.